The tragic demise of a teenager that no one has been able to explain from a rational, scientific, or medical perspective. It's hard to believe, but the trace will lead to an occult ritual and a devilish pentagram. You're going to be shocked when you see what actually happened there. Welcome to Psychic Investigations. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants solve tangled criminal cases and find answers to unbelievable mystic phenomena using their supernatural abilities. In this episode, the psychics will try to find what actually happened to this woman's only son. The only sense of his mother's life. He died when he was just 18 years old.
Son, my dear son, my beloved dear son, my baby, rise, show me yourself. You promised you would never leave me.
The boy, who never experienced any problems with his health, suddenly died while he was out with his friends.
We met, and we were sitting, playing the guitar and singing songs. It happened right here, on this spot.
Dennis went to ride the skateboard. Then he rode up to me, leaned on me, and saying he was dying, fell on his back.
An ambulance arrived 30 minutes after the call, but Dennis was already dead by that time. The boy's mother rushed to the scene of the tragedy and was astonished to hear the most ominous words she had ever encountered. Her son was gone.
I kept trying to revive him, pressing on his chest to stimulate his heart, but they grabbed me by the arms and held me tightly, saying it was too late to do something. This is terrible. It's so terrible.
The pathologist who carried out the autopsy shocked Dennis's friends and family, declaring it was a sudden death syndrome.
They couldn't figure out why he died. His blood vessels were clean and his organs were absolutely normal.
He never complained about anything, and he never smoked or drank alcohol.
The birth of her son was a true miracle for Olha. For years, she had been trying to get pregnant, but she kept failing.
When I learned I was pregnant with Dennis, it was a miracle for me.
The miracle came true when Olha was 38. Even though her husband left her when she told him she was pregnant, she was happy as a child because she was finally granted the long-awaited dream of her life.
I wasn't a happy, beloved wife or a desired woman, but I was loved as a mother. I only had one joy in my life, but I was deprived of it.
He dreamed of going to study abroad, and he was a really apt student. He dreamed to write a book and hitchhike around different cities and towns. He had a dream to see the whole world.
Olha is desperate. She doesn't understand how it could have happened to her son. She's asking the psychics to help her.
If they can, I'd really like them to help me. Why would God give him to me when I was 38, to take him away from me 18 years later?
The best psychics in the project, Jana Shulakova and Yaroslava Fedorova, agreed to help Olha understand what had happened to her son. The clairvoyants met to work with the boy's photo.
The same picture again and again. I see a man. He's got a chain tied around his neck, and it seems somebody's holding him by it.
Is it Dennis or what?
No, it's not Dennis. I don't know who this man could be.
Look, I have a woman holding a chain.
Could these be the links of the same chain? Let's see it directly. I suggest that we try to summon the boy's spirit.
The clairvoyant went to find her ritual items. Meanwhile, her colleague recalled a strange incident that happened to her the other day.
Yesterday, at home, I took a photo. I'll find it now. I saw a star emerge on the mirror.
Then, nobody could even imagine that this photo would be key to solving the mystery of Dennis's death.
Where's Jana? She's been away for too long. She left her phone here.
They didn't find Jana Shulikova anywhere in the hotel. The receptionist told us she'd gone outside. But where could she go? The security cameras caught the psychic leave the premise dressed lightly, but it was very cold outside.
Let's go find her. Where could she go?
The crew searched all the neighboring blocks, but it seemed as if the clairvoyant had vanished without a trace.
There she is sitting. Jana was sitting and drawing circles on the sidewalk. She seemed like some kind of spirit had possessed her. How did you end up here?
I was taken like this and literally led here by the hand. And it was like somebody was directing my hand.
Do you think it was the spirit? Dennis's spirit?
I didn't summon him.
The next day, the psychics went to the place where Dennis had lived. There, the boy's mother and aunt were already waiting for them.
Hello.
My name is Larissa.
And I'm Olha, Dennis's mom.
How come that the boy who was all well and physically fit died all of a sudden?
I had the card of the house, a building. The answer is in the building.
We need to go inside.
Of course.
I'd like to see the boys' room.
And I'm going to work with his mom.
A handsome young boy dressed in a navy suit like this one. A pink shirt.
He wore this suit to the graduation ceremony, and we buried him in it.
He's holding some books in his hands.
Our third sister put the books in his casket, Plato's works and some other books.
The fifth book, wait. Solve et coagula.
Is it Latin?
Solve et coagula is a phrase in Latin. I immediately thought I knew those words, but I couldn't recall what they meant.
Not long before his death, he developed an interest in everything connected with the history of Rome and started learning Latin.
At the same time, Jana Shulikova is working with Dennis's mother in the living room.
Give me your hand, will you? Why do I see these very hands holding a burial candle for someone who is still alive? What were you doing? This is a type of deadly hex. I assumed that Olha was probably doing it in order to cause death to someone, and as a punishment for that, she lost her son.
I did it for myself. Jana, I don't want to live. I can't. I'm tired of waking up and going to bed in tears.
Let's have a seat. This is terrible, beyond doubt. He was an incredibly polite boy who loved his mom, and it's an awful tragedy. This is terrible. I can understand you as a mother. This is a nightmare. But the thing you were going to do is the same as suicide.
Zana, I can't.
God, the cards are showing that before the boy died, somebody broke his heart. Someone hurt his feelings badly.
Dennis's friends told us that 3 months before the tragedy, he fell in love with a girl named Lisa. They began dating. The boy was going to tell her of his true feelings, but his life ended.
Not every man would write poems, beautiful themed poems. They were obviously written with all his passion because his love was incredibly strong.
It wasn't a girl, but a man.
A shocking revelation. Did Dennis have feelings for a man?
The boy is begging, wishing for the communication. He's searching for him, but you know they communicate without any sincerity, not looking into each other's eyes. And this man doesn't give him the communication he wants. It's like he's burning the bridges behind, rejecting the boy. Could it be his father?
When he was a little boy, he really wanted to have a father. First, I distanced from these talks, but then, when he grew up and I bought him a computer, we found his father. He sent him a message, "Dad, don't you think it's time we met in person?" But his father deleted his profile from the website.
The resentment remained in his heart until his final days. He remembered it for good. He remembered that for the second time the man behaved like a true bastard.
Nevertheless, what was the reason for the boy's sudden demise? Having found no answers, the clairvoyants decided to summon Dennis's spirit on the site of his death. Dennis's friends went there together with the psychics. Suddenly, something strange happened to Yaroslava Fedorova.
She's unwell.
I'm not unwell. I'm dying.
She sat on the spot on which he died.
Hush, hush.
This is what happened to him. He couldn't breathe, and then the spasms began.
He said he was dying and then fell.
I feel it all myself.
What had happened to Dennis that evening? Despite all odds, the clairvoyants made the decision to summon the boy's spirit anyway.
All right, I'm writing down the boy's name, Dennis. And the spot where he died. Got it.
All of a sudden, Zhana Shulikova started walking and went straight to the road with dense traffic.
Look. The dead. It's a teenage boy. He's bloodied all over. He's dead. He's all broken.
Wait, hold up. Dennis was unharmed.
Yes, he was unharmed.
We summoned Dennis's spirit, but somebody else's spirit appeared. I used the boy's name. How could this have happened?
3 years ago, a car ran over a teenage boy on this beltway. It happened about 500 meters from here, on this road, and his name was also Dennis.
Dennis Bolyubas. It happened in our neighborhood, and a car ran over a teenage boy that he had the same name.
This is insane. Within 3 years, on this very place, just a few hundred meters away from each other, 2 boys, both named Dennis Bolyubas, died. How is this even possible?
The other Dennis's spirit came, but Olha's son, who we tried to summon, didn't show up. I had a feeling that somebody, or something, some kind of force, was holding the boy back and wouldn't let him go.
It was the force that could control space and time. The time stopped. Whose time stopped?
Ivan's.
What? On this day?
Yes.
Yes, on this day.
Yes, on this day.
It might be a coincidence, but right on this spot, the moment Dennis died, one of his friend's watch stopped.
The force was craving some retribution. We thought that Dennis could have possibly paid for something his family did.
I paid attention to Larissa's hands. They kept an energetic trace like the hands of somebody who deals with magic. Have you ever tried doing magic? What did you do with your hands?
I bound candles.
Larissa obviously tried doing magic. Somebody taught her to do that. But who could it be? And then I had a vision of an elderly woman dying in her arms, and her death was hard and painful. You held the dead witch in your arms.
What?
The witch. Who died in your arms?
My mother. She died in my arms, but she never did any of those things.
And then Ola and Larissa's younger sister approached us. She remembered what their mother had practiced and what things she'd kept at home.
She had this pendulum. Mom tried to learn extrasensory skills.
We needed to see Dennis's grandmother's home. It was possible we could find the answer to what had happened to Dennis there.
Once we entered the house, my pendulum immediately led me to the attic.
I'd like to see what's in here.
Books.
Here, the Book of Mysteries. Magic? Magic and hex in the 20th century. Dennis' grandmother indeed actively practiced black magic. I decided to consult my cards to see what she'd summoned. And I had the card of a woman, a dead woman, who was still present in the house.
This is incredible. At the same time, Zhanna Shulikova also began describing a strange woman.
There's a spirit that's either haunting this place or it's being summoned constantly. It's a woman. She has huge, expressive eyes. She has shoulder-length locks. She's young, looking like she's frozen in time. The pendulum is leading me here. Here she is.
But who is this woman from the photo, and how is she connected with the boy's mysterious death?
Here she is. Get out of here now. Move, move. There was the spirit of a woman who couldn't find peace living in the house. Dennis's grandmother had summoned her. She was very aggressive, so it was quite possible that she took the boy to the other world. I wish you could see her.
It's her photo, Mom's.
Valentina summoned the spirit, and thus she bound it to the house.
We noticed that Valentina's portrait is very much like the one Zhanna Shulikova found in the attic. After the clairvoyant described the other woman, the sisters immediately recognized Dennis's great-grandmother in her.
Her name was Yefrosinia Frosia.
I couldn't wrap my head around what Olha and her sisters told us. It turned out that Valentina, their mother, often summoned the spirit of her deceased mother, Yefrosinia, to help her.
It usually happened in the evening, or rather at night, after the lights went out. She could sometimes call out, "Mom, Mom, come over here, Mom."
So, this means that this spirit, Yefrosinia, remains restless. Valentina summoned her for help in some kind of rituals, but then she died and didn't let her go.
Could Dennis's great-grandmother's spirit, who has been unable to find peace and is still confined to the house, take the boy to the other world?
It was quite the opposite, and she was trying to help. I finally understood who was directing my hand when I was drawing those weird circles. The great-grandmother's spirit was trying to show us a circle that killed Dennis.
We have the picture of the circle. In it, Dennis is on the rooftop of the building.
The psychics performed a ritual to let Dennis's great-grandmother's spirit go. Having done that, they climbed to the rooftop of the building, where the photo of the boy next to the circle was taken. Ola showed the photo to the clairvoyants.
So it's not just a circle.
It's a pentagram.
I was hinted of it at the very beginning. The star that appeared on the mirror.
But what does this occult drawing have to do with Denise's death?
The card of the devil.
There exists a total of 78 tarot cards, but this one is considered the worst. But there is something similar in the picture, next to which Dennis's photo was taken.
A goat's head. This is Baphomet, a demon. He's believed to be Satan himself. And they draw this goat head inside the circle and draw signs in it. So this means the portal for summoning is open. This is a way of addressing the devil. I see a man. It's an adult man, wearing a hood on his head.
The man is doing magic, and some dark magician is involved in the boy's death.
Dennis and his friends often hung out here on the rooftop playing the guitar. Is it possible that the friends are hiding something and somebody among them carried out a magic ritual here?
Mitro, tell them what happened here.
When we came here, we saw 4 bricks standing like this, and there was a square drawn. And in it, there was the circle drawn, and this star and some symbols. And there was a chair.
On the pentagram,
It means that after the friends climbed to the rooftop, they found the occult drawing left by somebody else. The psychics feel it had been drawn by some kind of dark magician.
he drew a portal. He made the circle with the star and opened the portal. After he finished, he simply left.
However, the picture of Satan inside the pentagram wasn't there initially. It was added later on.
Oh, you added it?
Yes.
Who drew it?
Dennis.
So, The boy climbed to the rooftop at the sunset, sat in the middle of the pentagram, and drew the face of the devil, also known as Baphomet, and thus enforced the ritual's effect. There is a card in the classic tarot set that shows exactly this. It's called the Devil.
Jana Shulakova and Yaroslava Fedorova work with different tarot sets, so they had to find the pictures from the classic cards online. We were so shocked to see that the Devil's card from the classic tarot set contained the picture that is almost identical to the one from the drawing next to which the photo of Dennis was taken.
Here's the Devil's head. Here it is. And here's the pentagram. The man and the woman holding the chain.
The man with the chain tied around his neck.
And I see the woman holding a chain.
Look, do you see what it reads here?
Solve.
Solve et coagula.
This is the phrase from Dennis's room.
The Latin phrase written on Baphomet's arms is deemed the demon's creed. Dennis involuntarily sacrificed himself and became the devil's victim. He paid with his body for the magic ritual someone else had performed.
It's hard to believe it, but as the psychics often say, magic is not a joke. A silly joke on someone else's ritual drawing became the reason for the death of a highly promising boy. A man made a deal with the devil himself to make easy money, though he eventually had to pay with the most valuable thing that he had. In this episode, you will hear a real story that will baffle you deeply. You are watching Psychics Investigate. This woman is sure that some kind of otherworldly force has been killing her family. First, she and her husband almost died in accidents they both had in their cars. A moment before each of them happened, they claimed to have felt some invisible force control them.
I felt like I was in a fog. I had a feeling of being about to faint.
And then Anna's husband, Sergei, died of a sudden heart failure.
I loved him so much. It hurt a lot. It really hurt.
The man was 39. Two boys, a 10-year-old Pavlo and a 4-year-old Dimitro, lost their father.
He was a very caring father. The boys loved him.
Her deceased husband came to her in a dream and warned Anna that she and their children would die soon. And the following night, Anna's younger son found himself on the brink of life and death.
He began vomiting.
The mother called an ambulance, but while the medics were on their way, the boy fainted. The medics, however, didn't find the cause for the boy's condition, and soon enough, Anna almost lost her life herself.
I was home alone. I was cleaning the kitchen and the fridge was connected to the extender. I clearly remember a punch on my back. I fell to the floor and overturned the bucket.
The water splashed on the extender, causing a short circuit. Anna miraculously managed to run out of the kitchen. Had she lingered a moment more, and the electricity would have killed her. The woman is certain all these events have been caused by the magic she found in her yard.
3 car air fresheners and a black thread ball.
I dumped them in the trash, but I had to burn them.
Anna's interpretation of the find is that the 3 car fresheners stand for 3 car accidents, and the black ball brings death. Anna Horbenko is 31. She's a psychologist, and she's always been skeptical about mysticism. But before he died, Anna's husband desperately wanted to see Yaroslava Fedorova, a witch and an expert of our project. Now his wife is sure that the man was right, and their family really needs help from the psychics.
I'd really like them to explain these things to me. How do I protect my boys from this?
The clairvoyant agreed to find out who has been exterminating the family with magic, and she's already working with the photo of Anna and her sons.
The card of the Harlequin, the fool. Something's wrong. I don't get it at all. This is nonsense.
Yaroslava Fedorova calls her colleague Zana Shulakova, who she asked to help her in the investigation the other day.
The cards won't listen to me.
The same here. No matter what I do, I keep getting some nonsense time after time.
The regular experts of our project set out for the investigation blindfolded. Usually, thanks to their cards and feelings, they understand, at least a little, what they deal with. Anna meets the psychics in town, and together they go to her place. There, the deceased Serhi's father is already waiting for them.
Where did you find the strange items?
Over there, under that tree.
I'd like to check the yard.
And I need water from this yard to read more information.
In the yard, the garage draws Jana Shulikova's attention immediately. What has the psychic felt?
Could you please leave me alone here?
Meanwhile, Yaroslava Fedorova is reading the information from the water.
I see a picture. A man. Pretty sturdy. And bald.
He is my husband.
He opens the gate. 3 people enter. One of them is a man. He's fair-haired and skinny. But his smile is rather weird. It looks really insincere.
He's from Serhi's work.
Serhi worked with the man with whom they were friends since childhood. They were classmates. They traded in different grains and oil-bearing plants.
Serhi and Yuri, former classmates, founded a business together, and their families were friends with one another. The man's business partner was a frequent guest here.
And a woman. She has long, fair hair.
His wife is fair-haired. This is Oksana. She's our child's godmother.
That woman envied the relationship within your family.
Yes, it's true. She told me herself.
Could the friend bring the magic?
I didn't feel the death-bearing energy from the earth in which the magic had been hidden. That is, the car crashes could have happened because of it, but not Serhi's death. The black thread ball was most probably aimed at losing money.
A year before the tragedy, Serhi really lost all his savings and ended up indebted. And the reason for that was that his partner convinced him to invest the money in a new project.
He invested quite a sum, but the business failed.
Serhi borrowed the half of the money he eventually lost from his father. Dimitro had made good money from mining crystals in Angola. After his son died, the man retired.
Something different took Serhi away, and it's not the magic that's threatening his family, but something else. I need Jana. God! Jana! Jana! People over here, quick!
Dimitro, something's burning here.
Call an ambulance.
God, there's something terrible there. The door closed itself, and then the smoke appeared. I tried to open the door to get out of there, but it felt as if somebody was holding it from the opposite side. I was trapped.
5 more minutes, and you would have been dead.
The ambulance arrives. The medics provided the psychic with the first aid.
This is some kind of unidentified gas. She breathed it. We provided the necessary aid and her condition is stable.
While Jana was coming to her senses, Yaroslava went to the garage.
It smells like sulfur.
What's the source?
I wish I knew. The car is in a good condition.
A person was murdered here. A person was cut, and his blood was drained. It was an innocent soul.
Anna and her father-in-law say nothing, but it's apparent from their reaction that they're hiding some terrible secret.
Somebody killed a child here.
Yes. My husband killed my goddaughter.
This is shocking. Anna's husband murdered a 7-year-old girl, Sonia, in cold blood. How is it even possible?
And you were here.
Yes. I was with Sonia's parents there behind the garage, and we didn't hear any sounds. Nothing at all. Nothing caught our attention.
It happened in 2016. On a warm April day, Anna, her husband, and their friends gathered for a barbecue party while their children were playing nearby. Anna's father-in-law was working in the garden. Suddenly, Serhi said he wanted to ride a bicycle.
Sonia stood up and said, I'm going with you. Then we realized they never rode anywhere.
The man took the girl into the garage and slashed her throat. Serhiy came back half an hour later, alone, without Sonia.
He looked awful, like his face was a mask. I asked him, "Serhiy, where's Sonia?" But he only gave me an eerie look, then sat on the bicycle and rode away. I saw blood on him.
Everyone was scared with the girl's disappearance. They started searching for her and entered the garage.
Did you find her?
The girl's mother.
Basically, we did it together. I saw a sock. Then I found a piece of canvas in the bag, and there was the body under it. But I didn't notice that it lacked the head. Long story short, it had no legs, arms, or anything.
Gathering bags with the little girl's body parts in the garage, this man couldn't comprehend how his son could have done it.
I dragged Yana away from that canvas, and we crawled out of the garage on all fours. Her hands were covered in blood. How can someone do something like this? I don't know. Why?
I don't know how I didn't lose my mind. I'd seen many things in life, but it was awful.
Jana Shulikova goes back to the garage.
Oh my goodness.
He murdered her and...
The container over there.
Yes. Yes. The wheelbarrow with the blood was the first thing we found.
Serhiy drained the girl's blood into it.
The wheelbarrow, it was full of blood. We both cried, we wept, because we realized what was in it.
The whole town went searching for the murderer. The police arranged an ambush in the house in case Serhiy returned, and he did come back home at 12:30 at night.
He knocked on the window pane. I asked who it was. He said it was he. And that was it. I simply slipped down the wall. The shouts, the screams, the shots. My elder son woke up to the shooting. He heard it all.
However, the man didn't survive to hear his sentence. He died 10 days after he murdered Sonia. A day before he died, he asked to be transferred to cell number 13. There, Serhiy was found dead.
Acute ischemic heart disease.
So, this is how Anna's husband really died. Serhiy's neighbors still can't understand how the man who's lived next to them for so many years was capable of such cruelty.
He was a normal, absolutely adequate man. We never noticed anything unusual about him.
This is a photo of Serhiy a year before the murder, and this one was taken a week after it. What could have happened to him? What made Serhiy a cruel murderer?
We can't return Sonia or Serhiy, but we still can find out what influenced Serhiy and save Anna and her children from the imminent death.
We're going to summon the murderer's soul to ask him one serious question: why he did it, and what was controlling him.
The psychics begin performing the ritual. But something goes wrong.
I can't establish the connection, and I don't feel the soul. The soul belongs to somebody or something else.
Would you like to see the cue? Do you see the letter S?
Oh God, yes. I see it.
What did the S mean? Satan. The murder was a ritual. He sacrificed Sonia to Satan. But why would he do it? What did he want?
Our only chance to know the truth was to summon the spirit of the murdered Sonia. But to do this, we needed her family for the connection.
Sonia's mother, Yana, was Anna's best friend for years. However, after the tragedy, they can't talk to each other.
I'm hurt. I can't see her children because my child is gone.
We weren't certain whether Yana would agree to see us, but she still went outside. The woman wants to know why her family's friend took the most precious thing she had.
It's very important to me.
Take 1 stone, please. It's a partnership rune. It means that her soul, that is, she, agrees to communicate with us. I see her as a smiling child.
I see her in my dreams. She says nothing. She just presses herself to me and smiles. This is it.
I hear her saying, I wasn't supposed to be the first.
He also wanted to kill my 2 boys. The police found his notebook at home, and there were the names of my 2 children and Sonia written down there.
Like a list?
Yes. But she was the last one on the list. Pavlo was first. At the police station during the interrogation, he confessed that he was going to murder him first.
This is impossible to believe. Did Serhiy plan to murder his own children? How can someone even think of such things?
Pavlo confirmed it to me, saying that all a week before, Dad had been constantly inviting him to walk in the woods. The 10-year-old boy asked me, "Mom, did Dad want to kill me in the forest?"
It turned out that apart from the victim list of the children, the police found another document among Serhiy's belongings.
Was the contract with the devil, in which he promised to murder 3 children.
This was the reason his spirit wouldn't appear, was in the devil's hands.
All the last month, he spent most of his time in the kitchen. He drank there. He drank heavily. And he wrote something on some papers. When he went to work, he took them with him.
What was the form of the contract?
It was written on a piece of skin, like a cow's skin, or I don't know. It was skin.
In the old days, documents were traditionally written on parchment, the specially prepared skin of a cow or a calf.
He asked Satan for money. He asked for 1,700,000 pounds.
Wow.
And in exchange, he undertook to 3 children.
I can't wrap my head around it.
As Serhiy confessed during the interrogation, he'd found the text of the contract online. It was the first contract with Satan in history. A French abbot wrote it with his blood on a piece of parchment in the 17th century.
A contract with the devil is deemed impossible to revoke.
So what do we do?
It must be fulfilled. This is why Anna's children are constantly on the verge between life and death. Their father's spirit is trying to kill them. He needs to fulfill the contract.
And Serhiy's spirit is trying to get rid of Anna so she can't protect the children.
We need to go to the cemetery.
Anna's husband was buried far away, outside the town. We only arrived there after dark.
He didn't have the proper burial ceremony. They said such a person couldn't be buried in earth and that we had to throw his body in the river.
I wonder what he told you before the murder.
I'm going to do something that will shock everyone.
Why didn't you pay attention to it? You'll pay with your blood for it.
What do you mean?
You endangered your children. With your idleness, we need your blood.
Pierce your finger.
Sure.
It's burning blue. He's here. He says, "Thank you for taking her here." I finally realized why Serhiy wanted to see me while he was alive. He'd signed the contract, and after he saw what he'd done, he got scared. However, there are no recipes on how to annul such contracts online. He tried to change some conditions or other things before it was too late. He was trying to change it, but failed. And when he saw your daughter, he didn't expect it. and it pushed it to do it.
What happened? He didn't get it. Who did he kill? He didn't get it. Why did he do it? He didn't get it. He didn't get anything at all. He only understood what he'd done after he returned.
He came back home himself. Did he understand what he'd done?
That was why he came back. He understood he'd be imprisoned, and he wouldn't be able to murder 2 more children.
Where did he get the whole idea from?
The father's oppression. The father's oppression.
Serhi's father provided for his family for a long time. All his life, Serhi tried to prove to him that he was worthy, but he always failed to live up to his father's expectations.
He failed to keep his father's money, and his father started blaming him. His father always told him he'd fail.
He took the devil's side willingly. He was searching for the way to change his life and the world that surrounded him.
He brought such grief to the others that for it, he, bastard Red, will burn and die 258 times. You tell him what suffering he caused to you. Like him, you're also living in hell now.
Nobody speaks to this woman anymore. She bears a mark of the wife of the murderer who killed and dismembered the little girl.
Did he understand what would be next? Did he realize it?
He read that everything would be fine. These contracts, they're very tricky. They always state that you're going to receive what you want.
And you will get it.
But you won't be happy about the price you'll have to pay.
Could you please help me?
We had to try to delay the contract because it was impossible to revoke.
The psychics carried out the sacred rituals for about an hour.
If the buyout for the contract that he signed is accepted, we'll see the sign.
All the electronics went dead.
No way.
Satan.
The buyout has been accepted.
Yes.
The contract is frozen.
I realized where I was and what exactly we were doing at that moment. Thank you. I really hope to change my attitude to life, my attitude to Anna and her children. I really hope I can do it.
The inconceivable tragedy ruined the lives of the 2 families. It's impossible to say if the women will ever learn to live with this. The only thing is certain, though. The desire of easy money can indeed make a person lose their mind. A young mother of 2 children died under mysterious circumstances. The family is convinced that a mystical force took her to the other world. Don't miss out. The psychics will expose the deadly supernatural entity. 32-year-old Valentina Bravarska from a small Ukrainian village died under unexplained circumstances 9 months into pregnancy.
Her death left too many questions. She was carrying a child and had no problems with her health, and then she was gone just like that.
Only 2 weeks were left until the due date. On that spring day, Valentina went for her final planned ultrasound and felt ill right outside the doctor's office.
She was talking and laughing in the car. Everything was fine, but then she suddenly felt unwell in the corridor, and that was it. She never recovered.
Medics diagnosed her with a stroke and immediately proceeded to perform a C-section. They saved the baby, but lost the struggle for the mother's life.
Her skull got flooded with blood and her brain started boiling.
For Valery, Valentina's husband, the death of his wife became the tragedy of his life. Left with 2 children, the widower secluded himself from the world and has been avoiding any conversations about his late wife.
His wound is still too raw. He loved her very much.
But Valentina's death hit her children, Nastya and newborn Sophia, the hardest.
The elder girl is at such a pivotal age, 13 years old. She needs her mother to be by her side, and the little one is just a tiny baby.
Valentina's family is convinced that some sort of mysticism is involved in her death, as recently the woman had been having nightmares in which she drowned in black water.
She would wake up sitting on her bed and howling like a wolf. She didn't understand what was happening to her.
Half a year before the tragedy, Valentina's older daughter also had a terrifying dream. She saw her mother on the floor, but when she grabbed her by the hand, she felt it was cold as ice.
She said, "Mom, I had a dream that you died." And Valentina said, "That means I'll live a long life."
Valentina's niece, Yulia, is certain that the psychics can help uncover the reasons behind her beloved aunt's death.
Something evil is happening here. Someone, or maybe something, cursed us, our family.
Valentina's husband refused to meet with the psychics, saying he couldn't bear to hear about his wife's suffering again. Therefore, Yulia arranged a meeting with the psychics in the nearby city, from where they would travel together to the village where Valentina lived with her family.
I had a very unpleasant experience. I was working with a photo, and suddenly I felt the presence of some entity. It was hanging in the air, transparent, like a curtain, a human-like figure with long, thin tentacles. And it was reaching out to my throat. I looked up, and something entered my mind, trying to hypnotize me. I blacked out. I came to myself sitting in the kitchen, and my hand was holding a knife, covered in blood. It was so terrifying.
It's truly horrifying. But who hypnotized the psychic? And is it related to the investigation?
Strange. Yaroslava, I was in a great hurry to catch my flight to Ukraine. On my way to the airport in Baku, I had a nagging feeling that something was about to happen. Suddenly, I saw a woman in a black cloak standing in the middle of the road, screaming at me. I'm an experienced driver, but I got terrified. There was a child next to her. I swerved the wheel onto the oncoming lane and almost collided with a truck. The car rolled over, and I flew into a ditch. If it weren't for the people's help, I'd have most probably died. I think there's some force that prevented us both from getting here. To my right, I sense a ghost of a woman who's been hindering us. She says we shouldn't have come here.
The psychic sees a woman again. Is it the same woman he saw on his way to Baku, or someone else?
Hello.
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 Yulia came to the meeting with the psychics not alone, but with her mother, Olena, who is Valentina's sister.
My sister was pregnant and died. We think some mystical forces are involved.
Wait a moment.
As soon as Olena started talking about Valentina and I tried to tune into her, the ghost of the woman who's been haunting us lunged at me and started choking me.
It's unbelievable. Why is this woman constantly hindering the psychic? Who is she? And what does she have to do with Valentina's death?
I need to lay out the cards. It wasn't her destiny. Look, a woman in a wreath. She's happy, and she was supposed to have a long life.
I'd like to review her fate to understand better. The stars say she was supposed to be standing here with us, with a long life ahead of her.
And next to her, there's a person she loves. And some business they started together.
They ran a store.
Thanks to the owner's kindness and constant smile, the store quickly gained popularity among customers. The couple traded building materials, household chemicals, seedlings, and other goods that are in demand in the countryside. But the happy, and now financially secure, couple somehow couldn't conceive their long-awaited second child.
For some reason, they couldn't do it. Years went by and she couldn't have another child.
Finally, God had mercy.
and gave them a child. But little Sophia was born, and Valentina passed away.
I feel like a part of my life, a half of me, has been taken away.
I'm having a vision of someone on the brink of life and death.
She spent 25 days in a coma, unable to wake up.
I see her being operated on.
They first did the C-section and then a craniotomy.
Everyone who knew Valentina awaited her recovery and tried to help however they could. In almost every local store, there was a box for donations to raise money for her treatment.
We all hoped she would pull through and would live and raise her little girl.
But why did such a tragedy befall a young, healthy woman whose stars foretold a long and happy life?
I sensed that she had problems with her husband shortly before her death. They argued, or even had a fight.
Maybe because she said she would go for her final ultrasound on Friday, and he suggested going on Monday instead. She said, "No, I want to go on Friday, so take me there." And it happened to her on Friday.
Her husband turned away from you, and there's some resentment. He bears a grudge against you, and you feel the same towards him.
While Valentina was alive, we stuck together and tried to be friends, but after she's gone, we became like total strangers.
I feel a strange energy. Valentina's husband is hiding from someone.
That's kind of true.
I see you suspected he had another woman.
I've known all my life that Valentina was with him, but it's hard for me to see someone else around him.
We need to talk to him.
He should be at the store now.
When the psychics arrive there, they find the store's door locked, even though people who gathered around the psychics claim the man is inside. However, the psychics cannot reach him. But why? Is he hiding something? Could he be involved in his wife's death?
He cries, trying to hide it from everyone else, but he still cries because his heart is filled with tears.
I sensed a strong energy of fear. The man is terribly worried about his children. He loves them very much. His younger daughter almost died with her mother. He couldn't have wished for their deaths.
Such relationships in a family are rare. He understood and respected her. It was a model family.
I can feel Valentina's children now. Strangely, despite being sisters, they might become enemies in the future.
At first, I knew that Nastya was outraged that she was there, but her mother wasn't. She was her mother's favorite. She loved her so much that you could say she's a spoiled child.
I'd like to address Nastya. I hope she watches this program. Nastya, I saw your mom's spirit. She says she loves you and little Sophia very, very much. She wants you to be friends with Sophia and stop seeing your sister as the reason for your mom's death. She loves you both very, very much.
My goodness, this entity again. I saw that transparent tool-like entity again, and I was very afraid for the people gathered around because that entity had immense power.
Yaroslava, I saw a woman whose head was on fire. I saw the flames.
Wait, it's like something's burning on her here.
Her veil caught fire during the engagement ceremony.
In the church, she carried a candle, and the flame reached her veil, and it started burning.
That was a very bad sign because right before her death, Valentina felt a hellish fire in her head from the brain hemorrhage. Her brain literally burned from the inside.
Then, was the veil the true cause for Valentina's death?
Yaroslava, I also saw that the dress Valentina wore when she got married didn't belong to her.
I used to work with a woman at the health department, and her daughter got married a little earlier, and then we bought that dress from them. They sold it to us cheaper.
We both got married in that dress. Valentina wore it first, and I wore it 2 weeks later for my wedding.
At first, I thought the cause was the dress. The energetic burden of another person could have passed on to Valentina, but you wore the dress after her, and thank God you're fine. No, it's not about the dress at all.
I constantly felt that terrible entity next to me. It couldn't have been caused by some talisman, hex, or evil eye. Not even a curse. I couldn't even imagine what kind of force it was in my worst nightmare.
I've seen something. A man's spirit. He was Valentina's family, a blood relative.
Our brother.
He suffocated.
It'll soon be 40 days since he hanged himself.
Oh my God.
Valentina and Olena had a younger brother named Sergei. He was 42 years old. One day, he left for work and never returned. They searched for him for 4 days until they finally found him in the forest, hanging.
Yaroslava, Sergei's spirit is telling me now that before his death, he had a dream of Valentina. And moments before he committed suicide, he saw her in some kind of black robe.
Strange. It turns out Valentina appears in her niece's dreams wearing the very same outfit.
I had a dream. She was wearing something with a hood, and her hair was black, and she had on this black clothing. I said, "Valentina, don't go. Let me hug you one last time." But she took a girl, a little black-haired one, and they walked away.
It's horrifying. This woman had 3 children, Valentina, Olena, and Serhii. 2 of them are no longer alive. Valentina appeared to her brother in a black robe, and now she's appearing in the same way to Olena and her daughter Yulia's dreams. Does this mean they will die too?
I can sense Valentina now. But she's not alone. Who is that little girl with her?
You see, when she died, a little girl who lived next door died too. She was only 3 years old.
They said it was pneumonia.
Valentina appeared to her brother in a dream, and he died. Then this neighbor's little girl, with whom Valentina's family saw her in their dreams. Valentina appeared to many, and all these people are in danger.
I was driving to the airport to fly to Ukraine when suddenly a woman in black appeared before my eyes, with a little girl beside her. Now I understand. It was Valentina. For some reason, she didn't want me to come here.
We need to go to the cemetery and talk to her there. I see the same entity here. It's milky white, like tulle. It's a human figure with very long fingers, like tentacles, and it's looking at us. It's standing by her grave.
Yaroslava. Once I tried to help a terminally ill patient. I was with him when a ladder descended from heaven, and a black creature appeared. It was transparent, with long tentacles for hands. And at that moment, the patient screamed that death had come for him.
It's mind-blowing. Does it mean that, from the very beginning of the investigation, death has been following the psychics?
Valentina knew she would die. She saw it in a dream 2.5 months before the tragedy.
She practically didn't sleep. She said there wasn't a day when something didn't come to her in a dream.
She started screaming once. We asked her what happened, and she said, "Look, there are someone's fingers on my leg." She said, "A terrible being was pulling me somewhere." And indeed, there were finger marks on her leg.
Olena, I'm summoning your sister's spirit now. As blood relatives, you should also be able to feel her.
My arms are getting numb.
I see her standing next to you. I'm asking why her life ended so suddenly. Valentina says she's a messenger of death. There's some connection between her and death. There was some kind of deal between them.
It's shocking, but is it possible for someone to make a deal with death? And if that's really the case, why did Valentina do it?
Death was supposed to take someone else. So Valentina, in a sense, gave herself to death in exchange.
Her baby was supposed to die. Valentina decided to give her life instead so Sophia would survive.
She even spent some time at the hospital struggling to keep the baby alive.
A mother's word. The mother's word is more powerful than any kind of ritual. So she basically exchanged her life for her child's. But there was a price to pay. Basically, she went into death's service.
Strange things started happening to her after she got pregnant. I see her arguing with a woman.
Wait. The woman is a stranger she met on the street.
A gypsy.
Suddenly, at the cemetery, a friend of Nastia, Valentina's daughter, appeared. The girl heard the words of the psychics and wanted to talk to them. Apparently, Nastia had told her friend something similar.
She told me that Aunt Valentina met a gypsy woman. She ran up to her and grabbed her hand.
During the argument, grabbing Valentina by the hands, the woman cursed her baby. The gypsy woman said outright, "Your child will die."
Valentina was extremely worried about her child. She was in the hospital twice, so she took the gypsy's words very personally. She believed they would come true. And as a true mother, she was ready to do anything for her child. That's why she asked death to take her instead and let her baby live. And in return for the service rendered to her by death, she became its messenger. She appeared to everyone in that black robe, and all those people died.
We need to pull Valentina's soul out of death's embrace. Break their deal.
We don't need to perform any rituals at the cemetery.
Let's move away from the cemetery. This place will do. We need to gather some kindling. And there were a lot of people around. And the ritual that Yaroslava and I were going to perform was too dangerous, as we were dealing with the afterlife and death itself. So, I decided to protect everyone by giving out my enchanted candles. The blood bond is the strongest in the world, and that's why Olena was, so to speak, a conduit for us between Valentina and death itself. Only then could we break the deal and protect her entire family.
This is it. Now she's free.
Will she be fine out there?
I see her on the riverbank, her feet in the water. Valentina says she feels free now. There's a happy smile on her face.
I'm incredibly grateful to you. Thank you for coming to us.
We're all shocked. Valentina sacrificed her soul for the sake of her baby, so that little Sophia would live. I'm shocked.
A poltergeist that kills people in their sleep. Who and why? Woke up the assassin from the netherworld. And what will be the price for it? The psychics answered the call from a woman who's been afraid to sleep for several months. Some kind of otherworldly spirit has been haunting Marina, a single mother, whenever she goes to bed. Once, Marina woke up in the middle of the night, feeling somebody leaning over her bed. Sleepy, she thought it was her late mother. But the next moment, she almost fell, unconscious. A malevolent, red-eyed shadow was standing over her.
The black shadow that had no definite shape. I felt numb all over, and I couldn't move or do anything.
Marina barely sat up to turn the light on, but then there was nobody around. However, the moment she began falling asleep again, she felt she was floating in the midair.
It grabbed me by the small of my back and tried to carry me out of the room, and I realized I couldn't resist it. It was holding my mouth shut and nose closed. I couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I asked it, "What do you want? Why are you here?" But it wouldn't talk to me. I'm so tired. It's incredibly hard.
The poltergeist's eerie attacks started after the tragic death of Marina's mother. The woman is sure the same black figure took her mother to the other world, because in the last days of her life, she, just like Marina, developed a panic fear of going to sleep.
She feared something all the time. She was on the verge.
And then her mother suddenly committed suicide. 45-year-old Natalia was found hung on the seashore.
I couldn't even imagine something like that could ever happen to my mother.
Everyone who knew the woman was shocked by her tragic and unexpected death. Her family think that Marina's mother had no motives to commit suicide whatsoever.
She was an individual who always exuded life and vitality to those around her. She was a young, beautiful, sleek woman. She loved herself.
After her death, the late woman began coming to her family's dreams, trying to tell them who dragged her to the other world.
She told me in my dream I was taken there, and then she said, "Find my murderer, Irina. Why aren't you seeking for my murderer?"
She asked me for money. I don't know how to explain it.
Marina can't understand what money her mother meant. Neither does she understand what kind of black figure has been haunting her family. Therefore, the woman asked the psychics for help. Ukraine's most powerful psychics, Olena Kurilova and Kayal Alekperov, answered her call.
Olena, yesterday I worked with Marina's photo, and the jinns that I use in my work showed me a young man. He was holding fire with his bare hands, but the flames didn't burn him. When I tuned into him, I felt like I was in some kind of trance.
Look, the cards say that look for the murderer in dreams.
What could these words possibly mean? What murderer and in whose dreams are they supposed to find them? Meanwhile, Marina and her cousin are already waiting for the psychics in their yard.
Hello.
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 Thank you for coming.
I feel that your mother was indeed dragged to the netherworld by the same spirit that is haunting you. However, apart from you, it poses a threat to another woman you're related to. She's got long black hair and big eyes.
This is my cousin, Irina.
For almost a year after her mother died, Marina has lived at her cousin's, Irina, who is also divorced and raises an 8-year-old daughter by herself. Irina suggested that Marina live with her so she wouldn't stay one-on-one with her grief. The clairvoyants go upstairs to check the apartment.
You have the feeling of something close by you, don't you?
Yes.
Whenever the spirit approaches you, you lose strength.
Yes, I sit and can't even pick up the cup to drink water. My hands tremble terribly.
And everything blurs, like you're in a dream.
Yes, I can't think. I don't understand anything. I can't get it at all.
The air is trembling. It's right here, behind you.
I'm going to faint.
It was terrible.
I hear a male voice. It's quiet, and it says, She didn't pay.
Me or Marina?
I don't know. I'm not even sure it's about you or her.
Then what was the spirit talking about? Who didn't pay it, and for what?
I see a picture. A young couple standing in front of each other. I recognize the man. I saw him yesterday. He was holding the fire in his hands. The woman is holding somebody's photo, and it seems she's ordering the man to murder someone. And the weirdest thing is that they're standing in a cemetery. He seems to be an assassin.
Do you hear somebody talking? Over here?
A whisper.
Yes, yes.
I also hear it.
I thought it was a draft from the window, but it was closed. It was a distinct whisper. Somebody was saying something in the whisper. It was terrifying.
Suddenly, I felt somebody from the other world at the window.
The window ledge fell. I'm shocked.
It can be dangerous here. Let's go outside.
The clairvoyants took Marina and Irina to the shore of the river not far from their home.
The danger is connected with the strange couple I keep seeing. The young woman and the man with the fire in his hands.
What do they have to do with us? Are they related to us?
Let me see. She's dead. The woman's dead, and she's somehow connected to your family. Right now, you're thinking of a dead woman, but it's not your mother.
This is my mother. Her name was Olga. I was 13 when it happened. She went to bed and then had a hemorrhagic stroke.
Did your mother die in her sleep?
Yes.
She was supposed to be 33 the next day.
As far as I understand, your mothers were sisters, weren't they?
Yes.
Give me your hands.
We got together at each other's homes every weekend to celebrate something or simply have dinner. That is, we didn't need a reason to gather, and there were never any misunderstandings, and everybody was always ready to help the others.
I thought that the woman from Kayal's vision could possibly be Irina's mother. Could she be gathering all her family in the other world? But who was the young man? And what did the fire mean? Then I suddenly heard Irina call out to her deceased mother, saying, "Take me with you." Why did you say that? This is awful.
Because I wanted to be with her. I asked her to take me to her.
Because your father made hell out of your life, right?
Yes, yes.
Irina says she was initially growing up in a happy family. Her calm and kind father loved her and her mother, but the grief of losing his beloved wife broke the man.
And then I and the need to raise me became a burden for him.
Instead of supporting his daughter, who lost her mom when she was only 13, and giving her the love and care she needed, her father offended her and beat her violently.
Every day, I experienced moral pressure and physical abuse. It was so unbearable that I wanted to die, and I wished he simply killed me. If Mom had been around, she would have never allowed this to happen. I kept silent for a long time, and I never told anybody of the beating and how hurt I was.
It was like your father lost his mind because of the pain in his soul, and he even blamed you for your mother's death.
Yes, he claimed that because of my bad grades at school, Mom had been stressed all the time, and this is why she eventually had the stroke.
This is awful.
The father was even going to send his daughter to a foster home. Only Irina's aunts didn't allow this to happen. Thus, Irina went to live with Marina and her mother.
At that moment, I saw a spirit behind Irina. A slender woman with dark hair cut short.
It's my mother.
She's holding a gray headscarf, wrapping it around her head.
It's the scarf she asked me to give her for her birthday. We put it in her casket.
She thanks you for the headscarf. She says she's warm there.
Irina's mother was crying and saying, "I saw my murderer before I died. I saw him in my dream." She says he was holding a burning photograph in his hands.
This is why the young man from my vision was holding the fire. It was the burning photo. He's the one who's killing your family. And he's not a human being, but some kind of otherworldly entity. He dragged your mothers to the netherworld and he's now hunting you.
Who is he?
Wait, Irina, your mother is saying something. She's repeating, Natalia, Natalia.
My mother.
I want to talk to your deceased mother, Marina. We need to see where she died.
An hour later, the psychics and the cousins are at the shore, where Marina's mother committed suicide.
My heat's leaping.
She's here.
I felt so hot, as if she was embracing me.
Your mother says she would have never left you willingly. Here. She'll hear you through this fire.
I want you to be comfortable there. I love you so much.
Your mother's spirit says,
Ah! Gosh, oh dear.
Shock. The flowers fell without any help. The family left them next to the tree on which the woman had been found dead.
The entity that's killing the family tried to hinder the woman's spirit. Your mother says something about money. She told you this in your dreams.
She asked me for money. I brought her the money the next day and buried it in the cemetery.
The money is not for her, but I can't figure out for whom it could be then.
There's somebody roaming here. I'm standing here, looking at you. From the corner of my eye, I see somebody looking out from behind the branches. Some kind of gray face is staring at us.
He's watching us, the young man with the burning photo. Why is he hunting your family?
And then the mother's spirit showed me two dead people. A man and a woman wearing wedding rings. The man is good-looking and very fit, and his eyes are like your mom's.
It's my mom's brother, Alexander.
Seems like his heart stopped, too. It happened while he was sleeping.
Yes.
His wife died, too.
She went to bed and never woke up.
A dislodged blood clot.
The women say their aunt died when she was a little over 40, and their uncle died a few years after her.
And they both died in their sleep. So did your mother, Irina. I feel it's hardly a coincidence.
Shock. 3 people in the same family died in their sleep. However, Marina's mother died under different circumstances.
Actually, this woman felt like in a dream before she died. It was like she'd been hypnotized. She didn't understand where she was going and what she was doing. It looks like some kind of deadly hypnosis.
The young man with the burning photo has such an ability. Inducing hypnosis is the ability to make someone sleepy. Make them feel entranced.
What kind of force is it? And where did it come from? And why did it choose our family?
It's some kind of otherworldly entity. Such an entity doesn't like to bow in front of anybody, but it can agree to a deal for which it will always demand a payment. And the payment can even be the deaths of a person's family members.
Is this man who summoned this force somehow connected to our family, or is he a stranger?
The cards tell me the entity was summoned by a woman who did it because she was desperate, because of love.
The woman carried out the ritual at the graveyard. In my vision, she ordered the murder of someone in the photo from the otherworldly assassin. But she's long gone.
At that moment, the spirit of the mother who died on the site began telling me about some Natalia who died. I was very surprised. We arrived there because her name was Natalia, but it turned out that it was all about another woman with the same name. Who could be this other Natalia who is dead now?
The wife of Uncle Alexander.
Your mother's brother? The one who died in his sleep?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
The killing entity is connected to your Aunt Natalia.
Natalia, why did you die? Why is your family suffering? The cards told me that Natalia's husband, your Uncle Alexander, was going to leave her. He didn't love his wife anymore. She was doing her best to keep her marriage together. She wanted to keep him.
She loved him. It was obvious. She often came to see my mom, and she cried a lot. Then she began transforming. She changed her hairstyle and used different makeup. She started looking brilliant.
But as I see, it didn't help her.
So I thought, what if the woman cast a love spell on the man and summoned the entity that later killed her husband, and then stayed bound to the family?
To see if your aunt really cast the love spell, we need to work on her grave.
Sometime later, the psychics and the cousins arrived at the municipal cemetery.
Here's my mother's grave. Here is Aunt Natalia's, and here's Uncle Alexander, her husband and my mom's brother.
I see the entity in the young man's body again. There's the woman carrying out the ritual in front of him. She gives him somebody's photo and says, "Kill."
Kill who?
There's a woman in the photo.
If Natalia had been casting the love spell, she'd have taken her husband's photo. But the photo is of a woman, and she ordered the entity to kill her. Was Natalia probably trying to get rid of her rival? Just a moment. Alexander, did he have a mistress?
Yes, he did.
He was going to leave his family for another woman.
She's underground, so she's dead, right?
Yes.
So could his wife be causing his mistress's death?
No, something doesn't match. The book says that the mistress died before Natalia.
Yes.
The wife died first, then Alexander, and then his mistress, right?
Yes.
His mistress also went to bed.
And never woke up.
And then I felt like I was struck by a lightning. It was the mistress who carried out the ritual.
She burned Natalia's photo. This is why your aunt died first. The book says that the mistress was familiar with magic.
Yes. People said she was a witch.
I hear something like hissing. Go to bed and never wake up. This is what she was reciting.
The mistress was whispering those words over Natalia's photo. That's why the entity that kills people in their sleep came. The young man with the burning photo did what he was asked and killed your aunt. But because he wasn't released afterward and didn't get the payment, he took the man the mistress loved so much, and then he took her. And later, he began hunting everybody who is related to them energetically. If we don't stop him, he's going to destroy your entire family.
Olena, I feel something squeezing my heart. I can't say a word.
It won't let you talk. Give me your hand.
Help us, please. We can't handle this alone.
We will help you. We need to summon the entity to understand how we can rid you of it. But we're going to do it outside the graveyard. I was going to summon the entity through the fire. The circle of the sand, charged with the prayers, was supposed to hold it back. I wrote the spell on a piece of cloth to summon the man.
I'm scared.
He's here. His face is like that of death.
Yes. Yes, it's like a skull. Here's the skull.
There's the skull among the flames.
Please tell us, how should we pay you so you'll leave us and our children alone? What do you want from us?
Pay as many coins as the years I've spent here.
Marina, this is why your late mother told you about the money in the dream. When did your aunt die?
In 2003.
Then we need 16 coins, no matter the value. Find them quick.
We don't have any coins.
The whole crew begins searching for coins in their pockets.
All right, ladies, with the left hand to the heart of the fire.
Leave us alone. Leave our children and us alone, please. And leave our family alone. We all want to live.
Once the cousins pronounced the final words, the fire burned brighter.
He accepts the price. He's gone. You're safe now.
We're so grateful.
Thank you so much.
This is incredible. The mistress's love magic took her, her rival, and the man she loved to the netherworld. Even more, the assassin from the other world almost destroyed the entire family. Was the love really worth such a price? And was this love truly genuine in the first place?